Hello everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard. Let's talk today about false positives. You're like, what in the Sam Hill is that? Well, it's the bane of your existence if you're an analyst. It's the cause of like every frustration and problem that is really going to trip you up in the future. It's right along there with its cousin, false negative, who you despise even more than false positive, because at least you can see and find the false positives. False negatives, tough, really tough. You got to know in a different way that that's a problem. So let me talk about what those are. A false positive is when something alerts or something is incorporated or rated or reported on. There we go. When it should not. When it shouldn't be. False positive. What's an example of a false positive? You look at a piece of malware and you're pulling out indicators and you're like, I need to pull out all the DNS indicators. And you see quad 8 and you're like, aha, I need to report on this. And this false positive gets reported on and incorporated into your threat intelligence. Then at this point I question whether you have the intelligence part of the threat piece. Because what is this? This is, well, you can't answer me really, but this is Google's Open DNS Resolver. It and 8844 should probably never show up in your threat intelligence or cybersecurity reporting. It would be a false positive. This is not something that should alert. Before I erase this, a false negative is when something doesn't alert when it should. And that's even scarier because you just missed it. You don't know. That's why I said it's a different kind of problem. We're going to stay, though, on false positive. What can you do about this? There's a couple things you can do. The nice thing about false positives is at least you can figure them out. You can find them. You can see a false positive once you can uncover one, because they quickly tell you that they're wrong. Why? Context. This is also the easiest way to prevent false positives. How do you do that? You understand the details of your indicator. The who, why, where, what, etc. of that particular indicator. Know what switches it runs, know what environment it has to be in, know when and where it was used. Understand its relationship with your other indicators. Does it make sense? Is it external or outside of the norm? You know, if you have a circle and here's all your other indicators and you have this one way over here, this could be a false positive. Could. Doesn't necessarily mean it is, just means could. Know the environment in which your indicator is executing or is utilized. This is similar to the details. In fact, it's part of it. Know where it has to be ran, when it has to be ran. Again, know its details in depth. And fourth and lastly, know its relevancy. This is the fastest way to get rid of false positives and to identify them. It's the same kind of process. Know if it's relevant or not. Something that was 5 years ago is less likely to be relevant than something that was 5 minutes ago. In the sense of especially DNS indicators, but in most instances, time matters a lot. Short-term things or things that just happened can be more relevant in many ways than things that happened years ago, especially in the context of things that we look at, such as file hashes, malware names, process names, timing, activity ranges and time frames for command and control, different threat actor groups, you name it. All those can be false positives in the context of what you're trying to talk about as part of your intelligence or cybersecurity problem. So keep an eye out for these. Run this process. Do not add something into, say, your threat intelligence feed or your threat intelligence lifecycle and your paradigm, like put it in your tip as something to pay attention to or bubble it up as something that should be a risk or a hazard to have in your, say, top 10 or top 3 if you don't understand these 4 things. Because in looking at the context of things, you will personalize it to you. And once you do that, you will prevent false positives in a lot of ways. So thank you. Please take this to heart. Please do this often, these checks at least. And also like this video if you like it. And if you really like the things you're seeing and you enjoy my shadowy whiteboard until I get it fixed and my little hand puppetry, then go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.